first of all, I like to think about eating as not just for hunger. As we all know, we eat for lots of different reasons. We often eat to soothe ourselves. We often eat when we're stressed, when we're bored, when we're lonely, when we're tired. So all of those kind of triggers can lead to us eating for reasons other than hunger, and also eating the foods that we think will be soothing. Part of it also is being very aware of what we do want to eat and being mindful of what tastes good to us, while at the same time approaching and being willing to be open to, oh, I might overeat at this party, instead of telling ourselves, no, I'll be fine, or I'm not going to eat all the cookies this year. So we can talk about some strategies that might be helpful as we go along today. So the first thing that I always encourage people to do is to think about what they're planning, just to really begin to be open to, instead of pushing it away and saying, no, it's going to be fine. I'll figure it out when I get there. One of the worst things we can do is figuring things out when we get there. So this idea of willpower is really just about people's ability to plan ahead, anticipate possible, temptation, and to plan for what they're going to do instead. I also encourage people every day to really use a strategy called HALT. So HALT stands for four things. H is, am I hungry? A is, am I angry? Am I anxious? Am I agitated? L is, am I lonely? And T is, am I tired? And if you're noticing a craving any time of day, really to check in with yourself. Am I hungry? Well, when's the last time I had a meal or a snack? Is it time for me to fuel my body? And if it is, great. What do I have planned for something that's going to give me the energy I need to get through the rest of my day? If I'm angry or agitated or anxious, maybe I just need to take a break, maybe move around my house, or even better, if I can go outside for a few minutes and use some mindfulness techniques that are really easy to use, like naming and describing what the sky looks like. Third piece, L, am I lonely? Which happens to a lot of us, especially like at nighttime or after dinner. Knowing when are the times I tend to feel lonely. And is food going to help my loneliness? Probably not, but it's soothing. What else can I do? And then finally, T, am I tired? A lot of times we have so much on our plates, so we think we have to eat just to get that energy, whereas we might be better off just resting, or maybe getting ready for bed at a decent hour, making sure we get our 7 or 8 hours of sleep instead of eating. So that's another check-in you can do with yourself. When we anticipate stressful holiday events, making sure that you don't starve yourself all day is so important. Making sure you eat your regular meals, not saving up, to splurge at night. When we do that, then we tend to really overeat, and we tend to eat more carbohydrates, more sweets, more breads, because we are so hungry and our bodies have been deprived and we're tired. When we're tired, we want energy. Carbohydrates give us energy, so we're going to naturally crave those. So I would encourage folks to make sure they stick to their regular meal schedule, plan ahead, make sure you eat something nutritious with some balanced protein and healthy carbohydrate, healthy fat before you go to a party, so that you can check in with yourself. And also just being aware of what triggers me to eat more. Is it when I see other people eating? Is it when I don't know people? So once you recognize what those cues and signals are, then you can better plan for them and make sure that you get what is rewarding to you. So for a lot of us, the reason we go to these events is to connect with people. So it's the connection that's important. It takes about 20 minutes for your brain to register fullness from your stomach. So if you're still eating after you've eaten a meal, it's possible you might overeat as well. But what's so important is knowing that if that happens, that we own it and we acknowledge it, instead of feeling, a lot of times we'll feel shame or regret, which is understandable, but also thinking about, well, that happened. What led to it? If we're able to turn toward the event and how we felt, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. I kind of feel like a mess. Being compassionate with ourselves for having those missteps, or something that felt like a failure to us, because we all have them. Every one of us has been in those situations at one time or another. In fact, probably lots of times.